Howdy, Possum Patty and Tiny Titi here. Yes, we took a walk. It's a beautiful fall day, and I took Titi with me, and she loves to ride up on my shoulder like this. And I walk down the street. I love the smell of the leaves when they're falling and the sound that they make as I shuffle along. I have to get her down now, though. Get down. Come on. Get down. Go ahead. Go ahead. Get down. It's a little easier to do that over by the couch. Oh, yeah. So, what have I been up to? Well, trying to take my walks outside because the weather is so nice. And I did just a tiny little bit of cleaning back there on the floor. Mr. Possum said I was running out of floor space. But that was all the stuff from the closet. So I just trying to organize that. I know the table's a mess because I've been journaling. And I'd love to show you what I've done and maybe work on another page. So come on along. It's October and I've started journaling in my October journal, The Haunted House. Not scary, just fun, spooky. Love the cover. And I was journaling about our adventure at the Big E, which is the New England States Exposition. And it is like the state fair, except for it is for all of the New England states. So we have Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, all having one big giant state fair. So I did this page with the brochure from the day. We went on Military Appreciation Day because Mr. Possum is a veteran. And then I started working on a few pages, but as you can see, I've added lots more. So let me explain to you a little bit about what I've done. And then I think I have to finish that page and do one more page all about the biggie. I could have done this on one page, but as you can see, I got a little carried away because it was one more thing. I didn't do anything. I didn't change this page at all over here. And on this page, it was just a brochure about the mansions in Newport. Now, if you've never been to Newport, Rhode Island, it's down by the ocean. And there are all these gorgeous mansions that were built by very rich families. And they were like their summer homes or something. But now they're like open to the public. They're like museum. And you can take a tour of these houses. And they take you in and they're gorgeous and they're beautiful. And then there is a trail that goes behind the mansions along the seawall between the mansions and the ocean. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So if you're ever looking for something to do in Rhode Island, go visit the Newport Mansions. So this was a brochure I got at the fair. And then this was another brochure about an event in Rhode Island. And this is at the Roger Williams Park Zoo. And they have the Jack-o'-lantern spectacular or spooktacular. And so I took the brochure from this event and I cut it in half and made a little side tuck here. And I took the other half of the brochure and I made a little journaling card. Now I used my ephemera of Honeydew's Halloween ephemera stack of pumpkins. I was talking about this the other day where you can download this for free off of my Google Drive. You're welcome to have it and have your own Possum Patty Halloween ephemera for your journals. And there's a picture of Stanley and a pumpkin in the Rhode Island house. I was explaining this in the last video, that you can visit all 6 states by walking from house to house. Each state is a few feet apart. And when you're in that state house, you are actually in that state because the state does own the property that the houses are built on. So we walked through 6 states that day. And in Rhode Island, we took a picture of Stanley with one of the jack-o'-lanterns, because that's where I bumped into Stanley last year. So this is now Stanley's 1-year anniversary with just journaling. So again, I used my own ephemera there, picture of Stanley and the jack-o'-lantern from that exhibit, and I just journaled Stanley celebrating 1 year with just journaling. And this is on the back of this brochure. I just cut this brochure at a little bit of a wacky angle here because I didn't want it straight across, because, you know, it's like a little side tuck there. Okay, I was talking about adding something to this page. This page is made from an empty cider donut box. And somebody was asking me if I was ever afraid the ants would get into my journals because I use food packaging. Well, oh, get out of there, TT. No, no. Ah, sorry about that. She was going after ribbons, and she tends to eat them and choke on them, so have to take them away from her. So back where I was. Okay, so I've been doing this for a few years now. I've never had an infestation of insects, but it is always possible. I try to clean the packaging as best I can. I don't know if you can totally prevent insects from getting into your journals if you use food packaging. I just haven't had a problem yet with it. That's not to say it may happen in the future. I don't know. I guess I cannot advise you on this situation because I've never had any insects in my journals. So you might have to seek professional help about that. So I was talking about maybe sewing across the top of this brochure from Connecticut, because the glue just was not holding it down because of the plastic on the back of the donut box. And what I did is I took my little poker and I poked some holes around the edge, and then I took embroidery floss and just stitched around like that to hold this brochure down at the top. I know I didn't poke the holes through the brochure on the side because I wasn't sure how far it was going to go over into the picture there, but it looks like I had plenty of room, really. I could have gone a little bit more. That's okay. It's working out just fine. I left a dangly here, and on the side where I started, where the knot is, I put this little owl charm. And then on this side, I took a piece of this really fun ribbon. This is Dollar Tree. This is in the floral department. Let me just cut a piece of tape here, see if I can hold this back in. But I thought this would be really cute in the Halloween journal. Okay, this washi tape has absolutely no sticky stuff left in it. All right, let me grab another piece. TT's trying to climb up on the table now. All right, so, and I folded it over and I glued it down, and I'm like, should I put a button here? I want to put a cluster here. I just wanted to put something on the ribbon. So I started looking around, and I came across this bag of things that I made in a drawer over there. It's good to go through your stuff every once in a while, remember what you have. And I had made these mushroom clusters that were really fun. I got all kinds of texture on there with burlap and lace, and a little bling and stenciling and stamping. scribbling. Oh, here's a fox. Here's a fox. This is a wooden Dollar Tree laser cut, I guess. And I guess a tag here for something. I don't know, I just random things I found. And this bag over here should be with the autumn stuff. So I'm going to put it over where the autumn stuff is. I'm still organizing, still cleaning. Yes, I am. And I just glued that on there. And then on this side, I put a picture of me holding up Stanley. And that's a neon sign that says Connecticut Loves. And then I put little Stanley there. But for some reason, the pink neon was not showing up in the printout. And I actually printed this out twice, trying to get it. Like I wasted one of the pictures, but that's okay. So I added the picture to this page, and the stitching, and the cluster, and the charm. Now I'm loving this section. So then I was on to the next page, and this was just a big blank page with this orange pattern paper in the background there. So I decided this page was going to be for Maine. And I got out the Maine brochure, and I started ripping out some pages. I might have shown some in the other video. I piled them up over here. Yes, I just started ripping out these pages with some really pretty images from Maine. And I thought, well, let's do a collage. So I got this lighthouse, and then this forest with the river and this bird. And I'm like, okay, that's good. And I glued them down. So I had these three images there, and I wanted to put a picture of Stanley with the baked potato that we got in the Maine house. Each house features the agriculture from that state, and they usually have a specialty food dish that you can buy there. So in Maine, of course, it was these baked potatoes, and you could get toppings on it and all that. So I printed out this picture of Stanley, and I'm like, I need a little more on the page. And so I found this picture of this windmill, had this like aurora borealis in the background, and I pasted that down. I pasted the word Maine, and I'm like, oh, it's looking better, it's looking better. And I'm like, oh, I gotta put this airplane. But now I'm doing magazine pages over magazine pages. It's getting a little wrinkly here, but we're gonna live with that. And I put it going off the edge. Little corner sticking up. I do not like corners sticking up. Okay, so I put it going off the edge, and I'm flipping through the pages, and I'm like, ooh, I really like this vintage sign about vacation land. And I stuck that down there. And then I stuck a little bit of night sky up there, and that page had the word adventure. So now I'm like, oh, now this is really coming together. And I tried to write baked potato in the Maine house for this picture. And for some reason, I was trying to write, and the page is curving like this, and my pen was skipping, and I was just having a terrible time trying to write in that spot. So what I did was I wound up writing baked potato / Maine on a piece of brown paper and then gluing it down there. Because for some reason I just couldn't write in that corner. And I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And then I went to look for a tab because I was using these cut aparts from this autumn page. Here's a Bow Bunny. I used one there, and I saw on that page there were some tabs. It's hard to reach for everything right now because the cat's in my lap. Oh, there she goes. Okay, so I thought I would use one of these like a tab. And while I was doing that, I noticed this cut apart, and it was burlap. It said farm fresh, and it had, ta-da, a potato. I'm like, that has to go on the page. So I just put a Brad there, and I stuck it on the page there over by Stanley and his baked potato. And I'm like, oh, now this is getting interesting. This page is getting interesting now. I've got a tab over here that says, I love autumn. I've got words, I got images. I got a little interactive part here. And then I'm like, you know, I really want to pick up this burlap right there, because when I was straightening up, I noticed that I had one little piece of burlap in a baggie. Here it is. Somebody gifted me this, I'm pretty sure. And I cut a little piece and I put it underneath the word Maine, sort of bringing that burlap down here. And then I'm like, okay, well now I need something on the burlap. And I'm thinking of something metallic. And I know I'm grabbing so many things. That's why this table is absolutely chock full of stuff. TT wants to go out. So I grabbed, I grabbed these stickers. And these are all like puffy metallic stickers from the Dollar Tree. And I found one that was just like sky and clouds and maybe some gulls or some kind of birds there. And I'm like, I love that because it kind of reflects the colors behind the word Maine. I got a bunch of these in here. I don't know, for a couple weeks there, I was really on the kick of getting these puffy metallic stickers. And I started using them, and then I sort of didn't use them anymore. But, you know, we circle around to everything. These are really pretty, aren't they? Look at those. So this turned into a really fun glue book style page with just a little bit of journaling, right? Well, I added one little button down here, Down East Acadia, True Maine. And I glued on my little tab there. So I'm sort of working in the quiet time in the morning. I don't like to record and talk when Mr. Possum's sleeping. But I'm thinking now maybe I can record and then voice over. I don't know. Anyway, I went on to the next page. And there's these napkins sitting on the table that I got at my sister's house. And I don't know why, but I just grabbed one and I put it down on this page and I put matte medium over it and a little tiny bit of sparkle Mod Podge on top. So first I put a layer of this, and then I actually took a little bit more of that and mixed in some sparkle Mod Podge and put a second layer on top. Just playing. I love to play with my sparkly bits. So just like I did the main page, I went back and went through the brochure from Massachusetts. And I started working on this page. I'm not done. I'm almost done with this page. But I cut out a picture of the Mayflower 2, which is like a replica of the Mayflower. And a little picture of Plymouth Colony up there. And the words Plymouth County. And the cover of the travel guide. I love this colorful ships over here. And I'm making a little flip. Oh, and in the back of the flip, I put one of those Massachusetts postcards that I was showing in the last video. And I'm going to put my journaling right there. And then I think that may be it for this page. Oh, I put a pumpkin on the back of the tab. I may wind up putting something down here. Not really sure yet. But I can always come back and add more, like I went back and added more to those pages. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. I just want to, I did the journaling and it's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Here it is. Oh, and here's those pumpkin stickers. Now these are like photorealistic pumpkins. I could put one down in the corner there if I wanted to. So this is what I journaled about, and it has to do with this ship, which there just happened to be a picture of in the brochure. The Mayflower 2, right? Now this ship, they refurbished and restored and did all that stuff, painting and all bits had to be redone. They did that in Mystic Seaport in Connecticut. And when they were finished, they had like an official launching. So Mr. Possum and I went down to the seaport to watch them launch the ship. And then it sailed back to Plymouth Colony in Massachusetts. And I wanted to say that, I mean, this was not something we did in the Maine house, but it was pictures from the brochures that we got about Maine there. So I just wrote down, we watched the launch of the Mayflower 2 from Mystic Seaport where it was restored. And that was 2020. So that's my journaling from this page. I did make a video, or I drew a picture of that in one of my journals. And I might be in like a flip through or something. So that's going to go right there. I might clip this corner. Oh, oops. Oops. I might clip 2 corners. Yeah, that's good, that's good. And then I gotta glue the words down. This paper was kind of dark, so I did my writing with a black Sakura glaze pen. I did have this, everything is falling. I did have this table a little bit cleared off. And then I started working on these pages, and man, I was just, you know, I'm pulling out sewing things, and I'm pulling out ribbons, and I'm pulling out stickers, and I'm pulling out Mod Podge and matte medium, and so now I need my brushes and my cups and scraps of scrapbook paper, and I was just going to town pulling out the supplies and having fun. The card parts. Just making a jolly old mess. A jolly old mess. Oops. Okay, well, I got glue everywhere. So I'm not going to be able to close that up for a while. I can wipe some off. I was all about, let me just put a few images and brochures in here, call it a day. And no, that didn't happen. I was just having way too much fun with way too many art supplies and making way too much of a mess. I gotta stand up, see what I'm doing here. Just making a little connection between the images I cut out and some life experience there. Okay, so do we want a pumpkin or something down here? I'm going to think about that. I'm not really sure. I do want something fallish, like down in this corner. So I'm doing good. I'm loving these pages. Oh, and on this was just a brown envelope that was here. And I found this advertisement for the Biggie cream puffs and eclairs on the front of the brochure, and I decided just to paste it on this envelope. And I spent like an hour, no lie, telling the truth, trying to get something white to write. My Sharpie paint pen was not working really well, and I was shaking it up and shaking it up, and my white gel pen was not working, and I really, really, really wanted to write in white there. So after shaking this like for half an hour, trying different things, it started to work, but I kind of went over everything twice, so it might be a little fuzzy, but ooh, see what happens? It kind of absorbs like right into the paper. So if you've ever used a Sharpie paint pens, I gotta look this up. Maybe somebody talks about it online. It disappears into the paper. Look at that. It's like the disappearing ink. I don't know why it does it. I'm doing something wrong. If you have any experience with the Sharpie paint pens, and these are the oil-based ones, let me know. Let me know. I did wind up using a Posca, but that was not working much better either. And Poscas are supposed to work really good, but I don't know. I was just not having any luck with white pens today. And even my white gel pen wasn't working. I don't know why. Maybe it's empty. And in this envelope, this is a postcard from the Connecticut house advertising a haunted attraction at one of the apple orchards. And I haven't decided what I'm going to put on the back yet. But I just thought it would look kind of cool sticking out there. So I've got Massachusetts, Maine, Connecticut, which is the smallest one. Nope, Vermont is the smallest one. Rhode Island. And let's see, Vermont. So I need New Hampshire. So I'm kind of running out of pages here. I could skip over to here, come back and do some journaling on these other pages, or I could go back to this page and put down some things for New Hampshire. So let me just see what I have that'll fit on this page for New Hampshire, and then I'll have all the journaling about the 6 states and the cream puffs done. I have a lot of wildlife information from the New Hampshire house, and this wonderful card tells you all about wildlife scat. Scat is poop. How do you identify poop? We have probably all these same animals here. Fox, coyote, bobcat, deer, moose, black bears, skunk, ermine, porcupine, raccoon, rabbit, owl pellets, ruffed grouse, and wild turkey. Well, how come they don't have possum on there? The New Hampshire moose. And this one is interesting. These are tracks. Wildlife tracks. I love to look when we get in like a nice fresh snow on the ground to go out and look for the tracks. Again, do they have possums? Oh, yes, they do. You can tell a possum because it's got this big thumb sticking out over here. TT's in my lap again. Right there, possum's got the big thumb. So I might want to tuck these into a pocket for now. This is the cover of the Arts magazine from Manchester. And I love this cat here, and I'm thinking about cutting him out. Oh, it looks like I already started cutting here. Cut this part out. Let's see how I can do this. And just make a little tuck for those brochures maybe. Will they fit in here though? Let's see. Just about, just about. All right, I'm going to trim this down. So I did put in all the little videos I had of the fair in the last video I made. So today I'm basically just finishing it up. Oh, you know what? Okay, well, I finished that page and I'm working on this page. I just thought of another page. Somewhere in this mess, here it is. I need to clean the table again. The Celtic angels, you know, the singers and the Celtic guys, the dancers, and I printed out that picture. And I wanted to journal about that too. Well, it's going to take me a week to journal about this one day's adventure. And I have several more that I need to journal about. No problem. No rush. It's all good. There's not always a lot of time to journal about your adventures when you're on your adventures. You know, during the slow days, I'll just have to journal about them, that's all. See, now in the old days, this would have bothered me, having these little things sticking out like that. And all of a sudden, they don't. And I don't know why. Oh, this is very, very shiny. I don't know if it'll stick down. All right, let's try some beacon glue. But now that I'm walking, I'm taking all kinds of pictures of the fall nature. And now I want to journal about that. Of course, the leaves are changing, but there's other things. There's wild berries, and the grapes are purple now. And oh man, when you walk down the street and the sun is shining on those purple grapes, it just smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision so I could share that with you. It reminds me of my grandmother because she had Concord grapevines in her backyard in New York. And of course I picked up some rocks. I watched some woolly bear caterpillars going across the road. Well, I think I'm going to leave you again in the middle of a project. I'm trying to get this magazine cover glued down to this burlap page to make a tuck for my wildlife cards. And I have a picture of Flat Stanley, but he's so hard to see. Little tiny Flat Stanley right there next to this giant bear, and that's from Clark's Trading Post, and I guess they have some bears there. So you can go and visit the black bears at the Trading Post. And I'm going to put that somewhere on the page, like I said, and I'm going to tuck these into here because I thought all these wildlife cards would go well with Flat Stanley and his bear picture there. But now, while that is drying, and this might take me a while, that's why I'm going to sign off again and come back in the next video with some more journaling. Yeah, I want to go look for something appropriate for the Celtic singers and dancers. Do a little journaling about that. And maybe not a lot, but a little. I mean, I could use the rest of this brown envelope here on the back. I can put like some shamrock paper or something there. And then I can cover this and journal on the back of this. Or I'll work out something. I will work out something, but I feel like I got a lot accomplished here in doing all these pages. I just love how they came out. So visually exciting. So visually exciting. Yeah, no place to rest your eyes, that's for sure. All right, so thanks for coming along today for just some journaling. Much appreciated. Bye-bye now.